A scary scene across from the Centennial Civic Center last night. Fire teams responded to a multi-house fire. The fire broke out in the 5400 block of 49th Avenue. Fire teams worked hard to extinguish the flames late into the evening. We can confirm that there were no major injuries, but we await further details while fire investigators continue their work. Kitty corner to the fire, local resident Keith Boulder had a direct view of the blaze.
They got that fire out on the little lawn. Then a bit of smoke coming out of the back end of the White House. Next thing we see a big machine come over there and tear the house down.
Yeah.
The city is working on an updated municipal development plan. With the new plan, city administration wants to ensure that it is reliable, accessible, community-oriented, and user-friendly. Our Sarah Baker has the story.
City staff and administration have been working hard on a municipal development plan that is a connection to the city's future, which community involvement has been a major factor in creating.
I've been really impressed with our team at the city, Natasha and their team, actually going out and getting kind of a grassroots response to what the vision of the future of our community looks like. And then as a member of council, it makes it so much easier to buy into that when you know that it's what the community wants and the way they see our community in the future.
In the presentation, city staff presented 6 values which they want to use as a guide for the city. The values of belonging, culture, ecology, innovation, health, and initiative.
Values are really critical because they're kind of what your culture looks like on the ground when people are interacting, when they're doing things. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing those values because they'll be really the metric we use as we make decisions about the city. Are we doing this in a way where we can say that there is actually, is there belonging, is there culture, is there innovation, is there health and initiative in terms of all those pieces that we do in the city.
Every member of council was excited about the future driving results that were presented at the meeting.
We have a document in place here that will really drive the future development of our city down the road. So it's exciting to see it come forward and exciting to see it develop. And even though it's at the preliminary stages, the draft format will come out here soon. And that's when we'll really get a nice view of what they're including in there. And even that overview, 40,000 foot view of our city as a growing community.
Further information will come forward and be released at a later date. Sarah Baker, Primetime Local News.
With many projects on the go for the Lloydminster Catholic School Division, Saskatchewan's Minister of Education decided to come down and check out the construction. The Holy Rosary High School expansion has made great progress, and Minister Duncan was able to meet some bright students. Our Shelby Clark has more in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
Staff with LCSD had the chance to give a tour to Saskatchewan's Minister of Education, Dustin Duncan, around the Holy Rosary expansion project. Certain members were even able to view the progress on Holy Rosary for the first time during the tour, and it seems like everything is moving right on schedule.
There's a lot there, and I think the minister was very impressed with the innovation that has gone into this construction, as well as the fact that students were consulted and we've been able to put their visions into reality, which I think is a huge accomplishment for our school division.
Holy Rosary's own Favor Anakutike was able to join the tour and meet with Minister Duncan. She's one of the many students who's been consulted on this expansion and is using her voice to better the school division's future.
Just to have the voice of the student at the table, whether it be a part of the work that we're doing on the youth council itself that's going to help to inform the education plan, or even the local school divisions. I'm really excited that Favor could come along with us to see the work and see the progress on the construction, and just knowing that students have had input in terms of what their school is going to look like. That's not only going to serve them, but also the students that are going to come after them.
With seeing the progress on Holy Rosary's expansion and discussing with the student representatives, Minister Duncan is impressed to know how well things are going on schedule. He's mostly proud of all the input the students have for these new projects and the innovation from staff for all the programming and designing being placed within the division.
whether it be for STEM programs or STEAM, as well as the Truth and Reconciliation Center. So I think that's an important component in this capital construction, and I think something that hopefully other boards around the province will look to as they look to embark on capital projects going forward in the future.
And that's it in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world, because the real world doesn't wait, and neither do we.
Now, drivers aren't the only ones feeling a financial hit. From food to shelter, basic necessities are becoming more difficult to afford for many families. But as CTV's Luke Samard finds out, one consumer report shows there's still some sense of optimism in our province.
With inflation pushing the price of everyday necessities through the roof, more and more residents are paying attention to their spending habits.
Eating out less, spending less on, the little day-to-day type of things like coffees and that kind of stuff.
I just got back from Vancouver and I spent more than I have in the past, so for me it definitely affects my travel plans.
According to a recent Consumer Debt Index report released by MNP, 52% of respondents in Saskatchewan and Manitoba say it's becoming less affordable to feed themselves and their family compared to 50% in December of 2021.
I think that has a little bit to do with COVID relief ending. I think it has a little bit to do with collection activity has increased. There is no more deferring payments. So I think everything's, including budgets and finances, have kind of come back to normal.
The report also reveals that less people on the prairies are finding themselves closer to insolvency over the past few months. Meager says that's due in part to people controlling their finances through the pandemic.
COVID really put that spotlight on people looking at their budget with media, social media really talking about interest rates, looking at inflation. People really started to pay attention to their budgets.
However, residents are still being cautious when it comes to buying everyday necessities.
Basically, the grocery price has gone kind of doubled up, right? Like what we were spending on a weekly grocery is kind of now almost double, if not completely 100%.
My electric bill has gone up, my water bill has gone up, my gas bills have gone up. So it's all like, our income hasn't gone up.
Meager says it's important to revisit your budget often.
Really important I can get through this month, but it's really important to look at what's 3 months down the line, what's 6 months down the line, a year.
If people are feeling the pinch, Meager says there are services available and a licensed insolvency trustee is federally regulated, adding the situation is fluid and could change. Luke Samard, CTV News, Regina.
And now it's time for us to check in with Shelby Clark for the first time tonight for a look at weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking a first look at your weather forecast here in the border city. We have seen a much gloomier day today for sure compared to the first couple days this week. So that's unfortunate. We saw a lot more cloudier skies. Hopefully everybody is still enjoying their day and having a great time out there. We are still seeing not too bad of temperatures. We have cooled down quite a bit, but we will be picking up a bit later on in the week, so no worries. We just have to be patient. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, they have cooled down as well in most spots, seeing that to 8 and 9 degrees in most areas. Some are seeing that 10 mark with us here in the border city, with Provost, Marwayne. Bonnyville seeing the warmest there, just hitting 11, and Cold Lake and Lac still sitting at that 10 degrees. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side now, they are matching with us condition-wise for sure. Seeing some slightly cool down temperatures compared to the first couple days this week. Most spots just seeing around 9 to 10 degrees, so not too bad. They are looking a lot more cool down, but we will be warming up, a little bit later on in the week. Isle Lacrosse is seeing the coolest with that 8 degrees, and we go a little bit lower. They are seeing the warmest with that 11 and 12 there in North Battleford. And for North Battleford, they will be going down to low -3 for their evening low. We're seeing those minus marks, people, so just get ready. We are going to be seeing that. We are going to be cooling down a lot more as winter hits, so just be prepared, but not too bad. Still seeing that single digit for that minus mark. But tomorrow they will be seeing a beautiful day. North Battleford will be expecting that 11 throughout the day, so slightly warmer compared to today, but they will be seeing plenty of sun. So not too bad. Switching over to Cold Lake overnight, we'll be going down to a low of -1. So seeing that single digit as well for their evening low. So not going to be seeing too bad of a night. They will be feeling much more cooler than what they are expecting, but better than those -30s, -40s. They will be seeing that 13, however, tomorrow throughout the day. Seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud, but still seeing a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds compared to today, so not so bad. Switching to us here in the border city, we will be going down to low -1 tonight, so just be prepared. We will be cooling down as well, seeing that tonight throughout the evening. Then tomorrow, we will be seeing a warmer day, 12 degrees, seeing a lot more sun. So we are going to be warming up just in time for Thanksgiving weekend, so just be patient. And now ending off with some viewer weather photos. Get ready. Awesome transitions. Love to see it. There we go from Melissa. Absolutely gorgeous shot. Thank you so much for this, Melissa. And that is all we have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
The Bobcats returned home last night to take on a tough opponent in the Spruce Grove Saints. Our Thomas Wildman has more on the exciting action.
The Bobcats battled hard against a tough opponent in the Spruce Grove Saints. Boasting the best record in the North Division and one of the top scorers in Liam Watkins, the Saints struck early, scoring in the first minute of play. However, Jordan Boriziak scored with less than a minute left to tie it up. Boriziak would score late in the second to put the Bobcats up 2-1. The Saints then tied the game midway through the third, and Caden Carbana scored with less than 2 minutes left to put the Saints up 3-2, and the Bobcats were unable to tie it back up, resulting in a Saints victory. Despite the loss, head coach Nigel Dubé was happy with his team's effort.
I think for us, it was a great game. It's not often I say to our guys that we deserve better, but I thought it was a night that we deserved better. A little bit of broken play off the face-off and a swat that went to them, and they were able to capitalize on it. I thought we had our chances, probably between 4 and 7 minutes left in the game. That like anything, you get an opportunity, you got to find ways to score on it. We didn't, and they found a way to score on theirs. So, but overall, it was a heck of a hockey game, and our guys, we outchanced them. I thought we outplayed them, but obviously at the end we didn't get the result we wanted.
This was also a fierce game, not only in the scoring, but in the physical aspect as well, with 45 total minutes of penalties. Bobcats captain Ben Bygrove says it's an aggressive rivalry between the two clubs.
I think Lloyd and Spruce Grove is becoming one of the biggest rivalries in the North Division, and we don't like them. I don't think they like us. And we look forward to playing them again and hopefully getting 2 points off of them.
The Bobcats battled hard, but unfortunately weren't able to get the W tonight. However, they will look forward to facing off against one of their other rivals next Tuesday against the Bonneville Pontiacs. For Primetime Local News, I'm Thomas Wildman.
Staying on the ice, the Bonneville Pontiacs are heading up north of the province for a showdown against the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. The Pontiacs are currently riding a 2-game win streak heading into tonight's match, while the Oil Barons have been struggling as of late, winning just 1 tilt in their last 5 games. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:30 tonight at Center Fireplace. And now as we head to break, it's time to take a look at our Pet of the Day photo submissions. Thanks to all of our viewers who always share their furry friends with us each and every week. You can take part in the contest by heading over to our Facebook page and sharing their photo and their name.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Cora DeVos is my guest today here on Primetime Local News. She's a photographer from Vermilion. Now, Cora, you have some big exciting things coming up very soon here, and we'll talk about those. But first, I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit more about yourself, maybe how you got into photography.
Yeah, my name is Cora. I'm the owner of Cora Enoch Photography. I've been doing professional photography for about 12 years now. My journey in photography started when I was about 15 years old. My best friend and I up in Cambridge Bay, Nunavut, we had I always loved doing photos, so we would go and buy the northern store out of Polaroid film, and I would make her get dressed up for me, and I would take her photos. So yeah, that's how I got started in photography, and then throughout the years, my talent and love for it just blossomed. So here I am today.
And there's an exciting opportunity that you're able to participate in. A 7-page spread of your photos is going to be in a Chatelaine magazine coming out in November, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit more about that opportunity and maybe how it came to be?
Yeah, so I've been part of the Inuit Tattoo Revitalization Project up in Nunavut, where we have um, where my best friend Huvuk Johnston has taken it upon herself to um, bring the art of tattooing Inuit women back to our culture. So through that project, I would accompany the project to the northern location so far, and we would I would document the women's journey as they were getting their traditional markings, and then at the end of the week that we were up there, I would celebrate with a portrait session of the women. This resulted in us doing a book called Reawakening Our Ancestors' Lives, and we've published that book. And then from there, um, I've loved tattooing Inuit women and celebrating them. So um, one day I was sitting at home and watching music videos for some odd reason, and the Cranberries video came on, where the singer is painted in gold. And I jumped out of my seat and I went and took a picture of the screen, and I was like, I need to do this with Inuit women to celebrate us. So from that resulted in a series that I call the Gold Series, and where this is a series that I've documented women throughout Canada, Inuit women, I should say, and painted them in gold to celebrate them.
Now, that's not the only big thing that's coming up for you very shortly here. From October until April, the Vancouver Maritimes Museum are going to be hosting an exhibit entirely of your photos. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
From October 21st of 2022 to April of 2023, the Vancouver Maritime Museum is hosting an exhibit of all of my photos. So that's very exciting. I'm getting geared up to go and attend the opening weekend, and yeah, I'm looking forward to having my series out there to the world.
Can you tell us a little bit about maybe how that happened? How did that come to be, and what kind of photos are going to be in that show? Is it also the Gold Series?
Yeah, so this Gold Series has definitely touched a lot of people, and I think the fact that Inuit women are being celebrated in such a way that we were often taught to be ashamed of ourselves. In mainstream media, there was never people that looked like us. So now for the younger generation to be able to see us being celebrated and being seen people that look like them, it's going to be a great thing for all ages, I believe.
Now, you're Indigenous, you're Inuit. Can you talk a little bit more about how your background translates into your photography? And also, how important is it for you to give representation through your photography, especially for kids out there that are looking maybe at some of your work, seeing Indigenous people represented in a way that maybe you didn't get to see when you were younger?
So my mom is a residential school survivor. So we we mostly grew up in small town Alberta. We lived up in Nunavut until I was about to the age of 3, and then I went back up there after my parents' divorce. But so growing up in small town Alberta, there wasn't very many people that looked like us, or you know, um, so while we were growing up, my mom and her past, she, you know, we were made to feel like we had to assimilate. We had to be like everybody else in town. And out of my sisters and myself, I was the one with the darker complexion. So, you know, it was kind of forced upon me to act normal, you know, and be a level of perfection that was unobtainable. So yeah, I think that with the photo series and, you know, being able to celebrate who we are now, um, you know, when I first got my first tattoos, my traditional tattoos, I almost didn't feel like I was Enoch enough because, like I said, being raised in the South, I was too brown to be accepted down here. But when I'd go back up north, I didn't speak with an accent. You know, so I was too white to be up there, kind of thing. So having my traditional markings has brought me to a place where I feel connected with a piece of me that was always missing.
And Cora, before we go, how can people find out more about you or get in touch with you? You're based in Vermilion, so obviously maybe they'll just want to see more of your work or get in touch for a photo shoot.
Yeah, they can get a hold of me on Facebook or Instagram. My email is on there as well, just under Little Enoch Photography. And yeah, I'm open to anything. So
All right, thank you so much for making some time to talk with me today.
thank you for having me.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
If you ask me, there ain't a man alive that's good enough for my daughter.
Well, I'm so happy to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Mr. Suits and Boots himself, Logan Crosby. Logan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, Logan, you have a lot of things on the go, and I want to start out with the reality show first, Claim to Fame. Huge success, and you made it into the top 3. Tell me, how did you get hooked up with that show?
Yeah, so they reached out to my cousin first, and she wasn't able to do it. She, is Jason's half sister. She's got kids and a job and whatnot, and she said, I can't do it, but we have a baby cousin that's about to graduate college that may want to do it. So they called me. And so kind of from there, it was just, getting interviewed, the casting process and whatnot, and then ended up getting on the show. But it was funny because, they really didn't have me as the number one from my family to do it, but I ended up going on and getting second place.
And for those who haven't had a chance to see it yet, your claim to fame, and the show was about putting relatives of celebrities on. Your cousin is Jason Aldean, who is obviously a famous country singer, and country music clearly in your blood, Logan, because now you've gone on and you have, well, let's talk about the debut single that was out first, If Jesus Was a Cowboy. Tell me about the writing process with that and the inspiration for that song.
Yeah, so that was actually a song that I wrote on Christmas break last year. I'd come home from school and my dad and I were watching 1883, which is obviously one of the spinoffs from Yellowstone. And, we watched an episode. I said, look, I have an idea for a title. I went in, wrote the title down, and then it became a line, and then it became a verse, and then the chorus. And I wrote the song in like 25 minutes. It was a super quick write. But yeah, that's kind of how that one happened. Inspired by, the whole Western, 1883 Yellowstone series, which it was super cool.
Well, that was a fantastic series, and truly what country music roots, I guess, are all about. Let's talk about the single coming out this Friday now, Logan. You're not wasting any time. Single number 2. Tell me a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so it's called If You Ask Me, and it was a song that I wrote with a buddy of mine named Nate Kenyon, and he came in and we were, kind of writing, and he said, look, let's write a wedding song, but let's do something different. And so we ended up writing the song, and it's from the perspective of both the father of the bride and of the groom. And so it was kind of a cool thing. It wasn't your typical wedding song, but we ended up writing something that I think a lot of people are going to first and foremost enjoy, but also connect with, which I think that's the whole point of making music is, people are able to connect with it. And so I think that people are going to really like the song whenever they hear it. So hopefully it'll be at a lot of weddings, father-daughter dances, and we'll have to see, but that's the goal.
Any thought of a collaboration with your cousin, Jason Aldean, at this point, or are you still going to stick doing solo stuff for now?
You know, it's something that we've always, joked about and talked about. And I think that kind of as, I progress in my career and he progresses in his, because he still is, maybe it's something down the road that we do, but it's something we've always joked about and talked about, a whole family collaboration, because there's lots of people in our family that, play instruments or sing or whatnot. So it would be something really cool, but we'll have to see.
Now, you are in Nashville now, Logan. So are you totally focused on the country music scene, or are you going to, in fact, try to do more television shows as well? Is there any possibility of that?
Right now it's music, everything is music, writing every day, trying to figure out, still developing, our sound and where we want everything to go and whatnot. So that's what we're doing right now. Now, later on, maybe something TV, but, in the immediate future, it's all going to be music.
You've also become very popular on TikTok, Logan, and a lot of the social media for some of the stories that you're doing. Are you finding that social media has been a huge help for you to get your word out as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, social media is the whole reason that I, even got started. I wasn't going to, do music or TV or whatever. I was going to go, to school and try to go to law school. And then I made a TikTok that blew up and got a couple million views. And then, I started singing on there a lot and people started liking it. And so I tell stories on there sometimes. I do everything on TikTok, but it really is kind of, shaped who I am as, a person when it comes to the entertainment stuff. Just because I think that was another thing when Cassie and Jason told the people from Claim to Fame about me, they were able to go look at my TikTok and see that I had decent numbers and I was kind of entertaining. And so it's helped me a lot. But yeah, I mean, social media has really helped shape me and me find my fan base.
What was it like, Logan, being on the reality show? Is it a lot of work? Obviously, we see the edited version, so it looks like it's all very smooth, but is it actually quite taxing to have those cameras there all the time and try and be on all the time?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, the cameras are always rolling. And I think that kind of stuff isn't as taxing as it's a lot of get ready and wait. And it's, you get up, you have a call, you have to do it like it's time to go, you get dressed, and then you sit for 4 hours. And then you're like, well, what the heck's going on? And honestly, your mind's working at that point, and you start to kind of mess with yourself, and it's just like, what are we doing? What's behind this door? What's behind this curtain? And it's really nothing. But yeah, it's a lot of get ready and wait. But the cameras were always rolling. For me, that never bothered me. I don't know necessarily about the other cast, but I was never bothered by, the cameras always rolling.
Well, Logan, if people are looking to find you on social media, what is the best way to do that?
I'm real Logan Crosby on all my social medias. And then obviously anywhere that you listen to music, it's Logan Crosby.
All right. And your new single out on Friday, I assume Spotify, all of the regular streaming services as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Logan, for joining me. I really appreciate it. And good luck. We're so excited to see what you do over the next little while here. And hopefully we get to see a Logan Crosby concert in Canada at some time soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And that's all the time we have for the first hour of Primetime Local News. Thank you all so much for joining us. Our second hour continues next.